Vermont, known for its natural beauty, has suffered a catastrophic event. The rivers overflowed their banks, homes were destroyed, and lives were shattered. Hello guys! In this video, we look into the mystery behind the recent flooding catastrophe that has devastated the beautiful state of Vermont. What could have possibly caused this unprecedented disaster? Let's find out. The recent flooding that swept through parts of the Hudson Valley in New York and Vermont, drenching the region with 2 months' worth of rain within 2 days, wasn't a result of a tropical storm or hurricane. Instead, it was caused by a combination of factors like low pressure and a cold front associated with a typical summertime weather system colliding with a volatile mix of atmospheric conditions. Several components contributed to the catastrophic flooding, including excessive rainfall that saturated the already damp ground prior to the storm. The amount of moisture was twice the usual level, leading to a saturation point that couldn't handle any more water. Additionally, the presence of an atmospheric traffic jam exacerbated the situation, as different air masses clashed and intensified the storm's impact. The flood-prone terrain of Vermont further worsened the situation, as it facilitated the rapid flow and accumulation of water. Scientists have also raised concerns about the influence of human-caused climate change on the severity of the rainfall. It's believed that global warming has amplified the intensity of precipitation events, potentially acting as a catalyst for the overwhelming downpour. Now let's delve into the 5 crucial elements that intertwine to form this momentous occurrence of flooding. The ground couldn't hold water anymore. The ground had already reached its capacity to hold water, becoming saturated due to continuous rainfall. The preceding 2 weeks had witnessed significant precipitation, as reported by the National Weather Service. The region had experienced abundant rain over the past month, particularly in the fortnight leading up to the flooding event. Numerous areas had received rainfall ranging from 4 to 8 inches since the final week of June, amounting to approximately 150 to 300% of the usual precipitation during that period. Given the already saturated ground, the excessive rainfall, surpassing 8 inches in certain locations, had nowhere to be absorbed in such a short span of time. Consequently, this led to nearly 300 reports of intense rainfall and subsequent flooding within a mere 2 days. The resulting damage was some of the most severe experienced since the occurrence of Hurricane Irene in 2011. Furthermore, Vermont was grappling with additional flooding that persisted into Monday night and Tuesday. The Winooski and Lamoille rivers had surged to major flood stages, exacerbating the situation. The entire Northeast had witnessed a rise in river volumes due to the above-average rainfall experienced in late June and early July. Heavy surge of moisture. In a fascinating display of atmospheric dynamics, a powerful storm system propelled a saturated surge of moisture from the tropical Atlantic Ocean all the way up to New England, encompassing the mid-levels of the atmosphere. This extraordinary plume of moisture, akin to the notorious atmospheric rivers commonly witnessed along the West Coast, exceeded the typical seasonal standards by about an inch, with some areas measuring an astounding near 2 inches of precipitable water. The occurrence of such intensely moist plumes is reminiscent of the West Coast's atmospheric rivers, which made headlines earlier this year by unleashing unprecedented volumes of rain and snow upon California. Moreover, the heightened warmth of the Atlantic Ocean likely played a role in the deluge. Coastal waters stretching from Florida to New England are currently in the grip of a marine heat wave, with water temperatures near Florida soaring into the scorching 90s. This occurrence coincides with the global trend of record-breaking oceanic heat. The consequence of this elevated warmth is an augmented capacity for storms to extract moisture, leading to more substantial rainfall events. Weather disturbance hindered by atmospheric congestion. Imagine a bustling freeway in the sky, but instead of cars, there are weather systems jostling for space. In this unique phenomenon, a storm found itself caught in an atmospheric traffic jam, unable to move at its usual pace. The culprit behind this sluggishness was a blocking pattern in the atmosphere, where a massive high-pressure system stationed itself over Greenland, obstructing the storm's low-pressure circulation. Interestingly, this scenario bore resemblance to a previous event in early June when smoke from wildfires was trapped over the Northeast. Just as the high-pressure system hindered the storm, a similar pattern had contributed to the entrapment of smoke, highlighting the interconnectedness of atmospheric conditions. The sluggish movement of the weather system, coupled with the prevailing wind direction, played a crucial role in the deluge of rainfall experience. As a slow-moving cold front made its way across the region from west to east, storms formed in parallel fashion. What's fascinating is that the winds that guided these storms were also blowing from south to north. This convergence of conditions created a fascinating phenomenon known as training, akin to the cars of a train following each other closely on a track. Consequently, these storms were able to develop and track repeatedly over the same areas, resulting in persistent rainfall. The repetitiveness of this weather pattern, resembling a series of train cars traversing the same path, amplified the cumulative impact of the rainfall, making it a notable event to behold. Vulnerable valleys and mountain towns in Vermont. The picturesque state of Vermont possesses a unique vulnerability when it comes to flooding, owing to its rugged topography. The steep terrain of this region acts as a funnel, directing water in a particular manner. As a result, when water flows into a valley surrounded by majestic mountains, it accumulates at a significantly faster pace and reaches higher levels compared to water dispersed across broader, flatter areas. This not only escalates the risk of flooding, but also intensifies the likelihood of dangerous landslides. The impact of the terrain on water runoff is particularly striking, as streams and rivers in Vermont exhibit a distinct character. Their behavior can be described as flashier, with rapid rises in water levels that outpace those observed in larger watersheds or flatter landscapes. Furthermore, Vermont's vulnerability to flooding is further compounded by the infrequency of heavy rainfall in its interior in comparison to other regions across the nation. Consequently, rainfall events of the magnitude experienced on Monday are far less common in Vermont than in other areas. Since flood codes, infrastructure, and natural stream beds are designed based on the frequency of heavy rain, a 6-inch rainfall in Vermont carries much greater potential for devastation than it would in a region where such rainfall is more commonplace. Human-caused climatic change. Recent findings from the nonprofit First Street Foundation have shed light on the role of climate change in intensifying occurrences of heavy rain and subsequent flooding across certain regions. What were once rare episodes happening once every century are now becoming more frequent and regular. The warming of our planet caused by human activities, commonly known as human-caused climate change, plays a significant role in this phenomenon. As temperatures rise, the atmosphere holds more moisture, thereby increasing the availability of water vapor for storms. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, for every 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit, 1 degree Celsius of global warming, heavy precipitation events are projected to rise by approximately 7%. Furthermore, there is mounting evidence linking climate change to atmospheric blocking patterns, such as the one witnessed recently. A newly published research paper suggests that reduced snow coverage in North America, a consequence of climate change, is associated with the occurrence of summer blocking over Greenland. Although there has been ongoing debate regarding the connection between such blocking patterns and climate change, this finding provides compelling evidence of their correlation. Any casualty reports? Fortunately, there have been no reports of casualties or injuries thus far. However, the state capital has been severely impacted, with certain areas submerged underwater, and the estimated cost of property damage could potentially amount to millions of dollars. The towns of Londonderry and Weston have experienced severe consequences, resulting in limited accessibility for residents. On Wednesday alone, emergency teams carried out an impressive 117 rescue operations in Vermont. As the immediate danger subsides, officials have begun evaluating the extent of the destruction, including the number of homes that have been demolished. Additionally, the financial toll of repairing the extensive damage to roads, bridges, and railways is also being assessed. Although there have been no reported deaths or injuries, the storm's impact on Vermont has been substantial. The state is grappling with flooded areas, inaccessible towns, and an impending economic burden. Efforts are now focused on recovery and rehabilitation as the affected communities come to terms with the aftermath of this unprecedented natural disaster. President Joe Biden's reaction to the flooding. Vermont's Governor Phil Scott announced on Tuesday that President Biden has given his approval for a federal emergency declaration following severe flooding in the state. The capital city, Montpelier, experienced extensive damage to properties, with certain areas completely submerged underwater. Evacuations were necessary due to the hazardous conditions caused by the widespread flooding. Governor Scott emphasized that the situation is ongoing and far from resolved. Rescue teams navigated through downtown Montpelier using canoes and inflatable boats as they worked tirelessly to assist those affected. Unfortunately, the floodwaters continued to rise in various regions across the state. Vermont has endured an overwhelming amount of rainfall equivalent to what typically occurs over 2 months in just 2 days. The severity of the flooding has prompted the declaration of a federal emergency, highlighting the urgent need for assistance and support in addressing the aftermath of this calamity. That's all for today, folks. Thank you for spending some time with us. If you found this video interesting, let us know what you think in the comment box. Make sure to hit the like button and notification bell, and subscribe to our channel to get access to more interesting videos from us. While you are here, kindly click on one of the other 2 videos you see on your screen. See you there.